What's good? We back with the Boxing Clinic and more. It's your boy CJ Goodfella and a video request from Mr. D Factor 87. Why don't top contenders fight each other? And that's basically a good question, but it's pretty simple. It's business. When you got sanctioned belt bodies that's mandating certain contenders to fight, lower opposition and get their way to an easy title shot. I mean, why would you go fight a tough contender for? Honestly, all these guys want is belts. They want to fight for belts. So when you don't have to face other tough contenders to get to a belt, you're not gonna do it. Nobody wants to take the road of resistance when you can take the road to least resistance and get a title shot. But that's kind of an issue too, because when you take the road of resistance, it's just gonna make the title shot that much easier. But once you take a road of least resistance, it's gonna make the title shot that much harder. Most of the times. And a lot of them guys, they don't fight each other. It's a lot of good contender fights in overall in boxing. Contender is a guy that's not a champion, but they're on their way to being to a world championship type of fight. And, it is what it is, man. A lot of these guys don't want those 50-50 contender fights, Should we be getting Danny Jacobs and Jamal Charlo? Yeah. Even though Charlo's an interim title holder, but, he ain't a champion. He's still a contender. He's not a champion, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, they waiting for that to get mandated for the WC belt instead of, when they mandated it for the interim title, they want it. They wanted to be for the full WBC title, because with the title comes the money. With the title becomes, you a main event fighter. It brings a certain percentage or certain money percentage to the table. That's why you try to see these promoters get world title fights as main events and all on the same card together, because they're able to make more money, able to charge the tickets a little bit more, They're able to charge the TV's, network a little bit more, because you showing 3 world title fights. It's how you spin it. It's the promotion of the fight. So a lot of these guys, they're not going to fight each other because they know they're going to be on the fast track to a title. Yeah, this contender, he might get a title shot before me, but I know if I do, fight A, B, and C, that I'm going to be able to fight him for a championship. So, if it ain't for the title, I really don't want to fight him, because when the title on the line, that fight brings more revenue for both fighters involved. So it's basically about the money, because it's a wait-and-see approach. Okay, I'll nickel and dime it versus, lower-level opposition or lower-level contenders. But I know the WBC, WA, IBF, the WBO is going to rank me high, and I'm going to get a title shot down the line. So I'll be ready when I get that title shot. It's as simple as that. It's about the cash flow. It's about the position in the sanctioned belt bodies. Even if they mandated, let's say they mandated, just hypothetical. They said, all right, Anthony, you got to take on Marcus Brown, and the winner gets Adonis Stevenson, okay? All right, the WBC say that, but, both fighters have management and representation that's pretty good. They were like, okay, the WBC can say they can mandate that. They can say that one time, and then they can have a guy like Alexander Gufic. This is just a hypothetical. He can fight Stevenson next time and jump over us for the mandatory because he paid us more money, or we feel like he deserved a shot. See, a lot of these sanctioned belt bodies don't have hard rules. The WBC the rules are so subjective on what they want. It's very opinionated. It's just they don't have any hard rules. Not too many of them. So, Yard may be like, what, I don't want the Brown fight right now. Y'all could pass up, knowing that if he beat Brown or whatever, he's still a good chance that he might not even get a title shot until years down the line. Look at Stevenson; he hasn't fought a mandatory in 3 to 4 years. So knowing that, unless it's in writing where, the winner of Yard and Brown, this is a hypothetical, I'll say that again, is going to fight Stevenson next, those guys not going to do it, because they know the sanctioned belt bodies are bullshit. They be playing with people. And, if these sanctioned belt bodies were more honest and they had hardcore rules or hard rules about, mandatories, and you got to fight a mandatory by this time, or this ain't no step aside, or we're not going to give a guy a pass unless it's a unification bout, more guys will fight. It's all about the money, the promoters, and the sanctioned belt bodies. And the sanctioned belt bodies kept it real. And, and they really gave guys that really earned the title shots. We wouldn't be here sitting here talking about why we don't get these contender type fights, why we don't get the Darrell versus Jesse Hart fights, why we don't get the Caleb Plant versus Darrell fights, why we don't get the Andrade versus Jacobs fights, or the Sean and the Danny fight. Why we don't get those real good contender fights? It's because those real good contender fights are not main event fights neither for the promoter. oh, this is for the mandatory title shot to da-da-da. I mean, the Barclays don't want to headline that. They want to headline title bouts. You know, even though Vargas and Broner wasn't a title bout, Broner is the exception to the rule. He's a ticket puller. Wherever he goes, people sell tickets and don't mind paying top dollar to see Broner fight, or close to top dollar to see him fight. You know, plain and simple. You know, he don't need a belt no more just to really sell on regular Showtime. You know, a lot of these guys are not, you know, synonymous or close to being synonymous with boxing. You know, a lot of guys don't know them. But those close 50-50 fights is what, you know, the contender fights is what will build up boxing. But you fight them close 50-50 fights and you still waiting around for a WBC title. You've been an interim title holder for years now waiting on Keith Thurman. I mean, that's no good. No dice. Nobody got time for that. So, of course, they're going to go fight the Rod Salkas or the Adrian Granados or the Andre Robertos of the world until their title shot come around. You know, it's just as simple as that. You know, titles bring money. Titles bring notoriety. Titles put you in a whole different tax bracket. So a lot of these guys not going to be sitting around, you know, fighting tough fights for short money. They want the tough fights for title type money. So that's just what it is, man. So you're going to continue, as long as these sanctioned belt bodies continue to let these guys beat Joe Smo and become mandatories and get easy roads to the titles, you know, it ain't going to happen, you know. It ain't going to happen. You ain't going to see a lot of these contenders fight each other. It's a money thing. You know, you won't see them fight each other unless one of these guys get a title or they unify or something like that. And that's boxing. That's just what boxing is, the root of all evil, you know, right now. You know, and a lot of people, you know, they don't understand it, though. But, you know, it is what it is. You don't get those tough contender fights no more. Unless these fighters are young and they going through a rite of passage to see, you know, can they get a mandatory fight. But you don't see those no more. You see, you know, Lubin versus Jorge Cota. You see how ill-prepared he was fighting Jorge Cotto. He didn't fight a guy like Vanes, like Jermell Charlo did. You know, he didn't fight the tough gatekeeper like Luis Scalazzo, you know. He didn't fight those tough, those French guys that if you can't get through them, you don't deserve to be on the world title level. Those are the young fighters coming up, like a Devin Haney, Shakir Stevenson, Michael Collin, Timo Lopez. I mean, like those guys will go through tough fights, but they still won't be those 50-50 contender fights versus each other, like people like each other. But they go through those tough fights because if you can't get past those gatekeepers or those journeymen, you know, you don't belong on that level. But that's as close as you're going to get from 50-50 contender fights, usually in boxing. And that's just what it is. It's the titles bring money. The promoters promote title fights to be on the top level because with the title on the line, they can charge more tickets. They can charge the network more. And the fighters get paid more. And if the fighters get paid more, the managers get paid more. If the managers get paid more, the advisors get paid more. If the advisors get paid more, the promoters get paid more. So y'all know what it is. We gone.